So I would like to introduce you to our main Miro board that we're going to use for the rest of class. So we had this pre-work one, but we're basically done with that one. And now we're going to move to this other board that we're going to use for the rest of class. And it's kind of a complicated one that I'm going to introduce you to here once I get everybody on it. So here's how you share boards in Miro. As we go up here to the share board, and we say, we click share, and we say copy the board. Oops, first I have to make sure I say everyone can edit, copy the board link. And now I'm going to put this out in the Miro board, and I'm going to ask you to open this one, okay? So we'll call this main Miro board. You can shut the other one if you want to, or leave it open, whatever you want to do. But here's the one we're going to use from now on. So please open that up, and I'll just kind of watch and see as people are joining the board here. You can see people start to join up here at the top. There's a little counter that starts to go up. And again, you may have to rearrange your windows a little bit to make sure you can see everything.
Sorry, Steve, this is Jessica. I missed where you put the link to the...
Yeah, me too.
Sorry.
In the Zoom chat. So if you don't have
the we're just Zoom chat. Okay. I was like...
You put it on the main Miro board.
Oh, yeah, I put it over there too. It's just a reminder, so that's not a bad idea. While you're opening that
Thank you.
I'll put it over here too. Every now and then we have somebody that has a weird problem with chat or something like that. So we'll do that.
Gotcha.
All right, so we're getting up there now. Let's see, looks like we have about 15 of us on right now. Still another 5 or so of us need to get on. If you're having any problems. There we go, a couple more on. All right. Okay, anybody stuck or need something before I start introducing the board?
Okay. Mine is still loading.
Okay. Yeah, this board is pretty big, so it can be. But if you're getting there, that's probably okay. Just look on the share with me here while I do an introduction of this board. So it's a pretty big board, a lot of stuff on it. We're going to start from the left over here. On the far left, I've got a little, I don't know, what is it, a cartoon, I guess, that talks about transitioning to Scrum. What are some of the things that Forbes said about transitioning to Scrum? So that's just something you can check out. Right below that is a little cheat sheet to the current version of Scrum. This is a little one-pager for Scrum 2020. And there was a new version of Scrum that just came out 6 months ago. New version of the Scrum Guide. So this one is the 2020 version. Might be kind of a handy little cheat sheet for the test as well. Just has all the events and the roles and roughly what they do and all that kind of stuff. Okay. All in a little one-pager. And then just below that, if you're somebody who's done a lot of Scrum and are curious what changed in 2020, I have like a 3-page write-up here about what changed with the new version of the Scrum Guide last November. So you could check that out if you want to. That's an embedded Word document. And then to the right of that, we have a little kind of a get acquainted area here where I'm going to invite you to help me get a sense for our class experience. So one other thing, when you went to the new board, you probably went back to the hand icon. So go back over here to the left and click that little arrow thing on the left. Make sure you got the pointer. Now try to go grab one of these little red dots by putting your pointer over it, hold down your mouse button, and then drag it over and drop it somewhere on the board. Give me a sense for your experience with Scrum, if any, your experience as a Scrum Master, if any, and then feel free to write one or more Post-it notes about how I'm feeling about class or Agile or the virus or whatever, okay? So feel free to do that. And you'd do that by grabbing the sticky note on the side there if you wanted to. this will just give me a sense about where we are and how to kind of tailor things a little bit. Okay, well, this is a pretty interesting spread of experience we have here, actually. So as usual, we have maybe, a quarter of the, or a little more of the class is pretty new, but we do have a fair number of experienced people in here, which is great. That probably means almost every breakout team has at least 1 or 2 experienced people, which means we're going to learn from each other, right? Which is good. Okay. And we do even have maybe a half dozen experienced Scrum Masters. So my experienced Scrum Masters can always feel free to jump in with an example or something if you are so moved. So, please feel free to do that. Okay. All right. We're getting some comments here. Yeah, changing careers is always tricky. So empathy to everybody doing that. There's been a lot of that lately. Okay. All right, good. Just below this, there's all those class material links that I mentioned. So pointers to key material, there's a Dropbox that has almost all the stuff in it. So just check out that Dropbox link if you're looking for any of the class materials, the workbook, the slides in a PDF format. There's copies of that little cheat sheet is out there. All kinds of stuff is out there on the Dropbox. So feel free to check that out. We're going to show. Yes.
Steve, sorry to cut you off there. How long will we be able to access the Miro board? So like the Dropbox and stuff.
Good question, Jessica. There's going to be a PayPal link I'm going to put up. So $1 a day, and you can just access it for. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. No, it's available to you for the foreseeable future. Okay.
Okay, cool.
I just store it away in a folder. So unless I forget to pay my bills or something goes wrong with Miro, you're probably going to have access to it for a long time.
Can we by any chance download the Miroboard as an offline copy?
Not very well, it turns out. No, they've really restricted that capability. I have the ability to save it as a PDF, but frankly, it's pretty ugly when I do that. So if you really want that rather than using the board itself, then you can reach out to me and I'll try to make that copy at some point for you. This board will keep changing though, so you may not want that yet, but you can let me know if for some reason you want that. Up here, I have the option to do this save board thing, and you do not. So, or at least normally you do not.
Okay.
Okay. Then just below that, we have the links to some of the videos we're going to show in class. And then just below that, we have those 2 things I recommended having open for the test, the Scrum Guide and the Agile Manifesto. If you were going to read anything to get ready for the test, I would read the Scrum Guide. It's 13.5 pages. And something like a quarter or more of the questions come straight out of that. It's also what I would have open during the test. And then if you're somebody who likes case studies, I'm hesitant of case studies, but anyway, I've given you a link to one that looks pretty decent here, so you can check out some case studies. To the right of that, we have a little LinkedIn area. You have my LinkedIn here. You have Kunal, who's the main biz dev guy from Skillbook, who's wanting to link with you, and then you are invited to put your own links out here to invite other class members to do a LinkedIn, link with you. We've both done the cutesy little QR code style ones that you can just use your phone to do, but you could also just put a post-it note out here with like the URL to your LinkedIn account. If you've never made these cute QR code ones, there's a little link to a guide on how to make those out there, so you could check that out. Below all of that, there's a big blank space. That's where the drawings are going to show up here as I make them. I'm going to copy drawings over here so you have anything that we did in class. And then to the right of that, we have a little voting area. And so we're going to do a little vote here on the important topic of when is lunch. Okay. So I'm going to bring everybody over here. So sorry if anybody's in the middle of something. Bring everyone to me. So now you see this area here with these little pink stickies at the top with the 4 most common lunch times. Now, this class was advertised as this kind of weird sort of Eastern time, sort of Central time. But let's assume that this is Eastern time, since I think it was listed in Atlanta, right? Like that means anything right now. But anyway, so let's assume this is Eastern time zone. So just translate appropriately. So, you know, if it says 1 o'clock Eastern or 12:30 Eastern, that would be 11:30 Central, 10:30 Mountain, and a nice 9:30 brunch for anybody from Pacific time zone. So let me show you how voting works here. This is kind of a fun functionality of Miro. So now don't you do what I'm about to do, or it'll cause something very confusing here. But I'm going to go down and click on the little thumbs up thing, which is voting, and I get up a little dialog box here, and this is going to be when is lunch, and this is Eastern time, and it's going to be a quick 1-minute vote. Let's say you can vote for your favorite 2 times. Okay, so your favorite time or 2 times if you prefer. And then I tell it that the area for voting is just this area with the little pink stickies with the time on it. So I constrain the voting to that area. And I tell it that only sticky notes count as votes. And now when I hit this little Start Now button, make sure you're on your own copy of the board now, not my share copy. And you should see popping up a Vote Now button, probably on the right-hand side for most of you. And click on Vote Now. And now you should see these little plus signs show up on those pink boxes. And now you can click on 1 or 2 of those to vote for your favorite times for class.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
I still haven't got to that Miroboard yet.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty important you get over there. So what happens when you click on that link in the chat?
Hold on.
Hey Steve, it's Rushi here again. Sorry, but it's my Miroboard is still loading as well. So can I vote here? Because I'm unable to.
Get too close, we'll let you be a tiebreaker, okay? But don't worry about it if you don't get it for this. But I would probably reload your window. It should not have taken that long. Okay.
I did it multiple times, but it's still loading. Maybe like it's because of the second screen or something.
No, that shouldn't be a problem unless you have some incredibly slow internet or something, which I don't see any signs of that. Maybe try a different browser would be a possibility. Which browser are you using?
Google Chrome.
That's usually a good choice. But if you have another one like Firefox or Edge, you might just try it and see if it works better. Because it normally works really well in Chrome.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what our results came up out as here. Okay, pretty clear answer. So I'm for no tiebreakers required. So 12:30 Eastern will be our target time. So that's again, going to be 11:30 for people in Central, 10:30 for me, 9:30 for anybody Pacific time, and that'll be our 30-minute break. Okay. Let's see, DeMarcus, did you manage to get the board open now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So again, this vote wasn't super important, just, lunch, right? So that'll be our plan. We'll do that full hour break at 12:30 Eastern. Okay. And speaking of breaks, it is that time. We're running just a hair behind where I would like to be, but that's okay. We'll manage that. So when we come back, we're going to try a little game together that's out on that board. And it's going to be something we do in our breakout groups called the ball game. But it's kind of a virtual version of this thing we call the ball game. So I'm going to put up a 10-minute timer here. This will always be running over in the shared window. And I'm really going to recommend you get up and move around and stuff like that. But we will start up promptly at 10 minutes. So try to be back in 10 minutes, please. I'll probably have some music playing in the last 30 or 60 seconds to just remind you that it's getting close to time. And if anybody has any burning problems, I'll stick around for a minute, but otherwise, see you in 10 minutes.